Hey guys, um, everybody was asking me if how my speech went this morning and if did I record it, and I didn't record it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna read the speech that I gave this morning, and that way each of you can hear what I gave this morning. There's a form of prejudice in our society that surrounds disability, a discomfort, a subtle fear of that which is different and unfamiliar. It manifests as pity, avoidance, or mockery. When we see someone with a profound disability, a fleeting thought occurs: what if that were me? Naturally, many people tend to avoid those who make them feel uncomfortable or guilty. Not knowing how to act or respond to someone very different can be scary. What if she can't shake hands? Should I pat him on the shoulder? Maybe she walks unsteadily. Will she fall? Will I hurt her if I try to help? What if I say the wrong thing? Disability education brings these attitudes to the surface where they can be examined consciously rather than putting people together and hoping for the best. I'm here today to shed some light on the lack of disability education, and I ask for your help. My name is Isaac Aregi. Most of you know of me, and some of you know me personally. I was born with a birth defect called spina bifida, in which a baby's spinal cord fails to develop properly. Symptoms can sometimes be seen on the skin above the spinal defect. They include an abnormal tuft of hair, a birthmark, or a protruding spinal cord tissue. Although I was born moving and kicking my legs, 6 hours after I was born, I had surgery to close my spine, which then left me paralyzed from the waist down. How do people perceive and treat individuals with disabilities? Do they treat them with respect or disrespect? Do you know what it is like to experience ridicule, shame, disgrace, isolation, and rejection? While not all people do so, some normal people do not empathize with disabled people and the challenges they face. Some feel uncomfortable being a friend to someone who is perceived differently. People who are not exposed to individuals with disabilities often do not realize that a disabled person, despite his or her handicap, is just like you and me. Everyone should ask, what similarities and differences do I have with people who have disabilities? To what extent do people think individuals with disabilities are different? Nobody should be ostracized for something they have no control over. This is an issue I feel passionate about. However, being different can be many other things, not just physical. It isn't just someone sitting in a wheelchair unable to use his legs. Differences come in many forms: height, weight, color, eyeglasses, or even race. I will go to events, and it is funny how many people, some young and some older adults who know me, will walk right in front of me and either act like I'm not even there or barely look me in the eye for no more than a second and keep on walking. I have witnessed people in walkers or canes struggling to open the doors in stores or events. Many people ignore and walk on by without stopping to help. This happens a lot with the younger adults and teens, especially if they are in groups. Apparently, these young people have not received disability education, either at home or in school. This is not acceptable. How unfair is it for someone to assume that someone cannot communicate and hold a conversation or sympathize with what you are going through just because he or she is in a wheelchair or deaf or blind? Compassion needs to be taught, not assumed. Students should learn how to walk in another person's shoes for a while, or more appropriately, how to ride another person's wheelchair. You will understand what it feels like to get the stares and the whispers, or even worse, those that walk past and treat you like you are invisible. There are many out there in the world right now who feel like they don't belong. some of them who might be wanting to attempt suicide. You could be that one person who saves them and gives that person a reason to look forward to the rest of his or her life. You also could be that one person who is making that person feel like they don't belong and pushing them to want to give up by bullying someone or simply just by ignoring as you walk by. People with disability desperately need this type of authentic social interaction with a wide variety of peers in order to develop self-esteem and a sense of belonging to a larger community beyond the world of disability. We can't expect students or teachers or people in general for that matter to suddenly overcome their discomfort just because they have a student with disability sitting in their classroom. We need a next step solution toward the eventual goal of a truly inclusive school system and society. Wouldn't it be nice for someone one day to walk up to you and say, "I remember you. You were the one person who invited me out to lunch. Or you were the only one who always took the time to stop and ask how my day was while others bypassed me and treated me like I wasn't even there." Or even, "You were the one person who kept me from taking my life because not only did you tell me I was worth it, you said that I could get through it, you also said you would help see me through it." Using projects as a format, students forget their differences because the task at hand provides a unifying element. Rather than looking at each other, they're looking at the project goal. Soon someone they used to think of as weird is now fun and funny. The general public find they can communicate with someone they thought incapable of communication. After all, this is how real life unfolds in the adult world. We work together with all sorts of abilities and personalities, and we learn to accept and know people through workplace situations. Once the myths and mysteries surrounding a false stereotype are removed, diversity can be appreciated rather than avoided. And when experience is the teacher, education is at its best. Knowledge remains firmly rooted. If your friends aren't treating someone right and you are standing around silent doing nothing, then you are just as guilty of bullying. Stereotyping people starts with you, but it can also end with you. People always ask me how I can smile and how I manage to stay so positive when I have so many reasons to be better. We don't get to choose the life we're given, but we get to choose how to live the rest of our lives and play the cards that we have been dealt. I see a lot of people who wake up complaining to God about what's wrong with them. How about waking up and start thanking God for what's not wrong with you? Our lives maybe can be better, but it can also be much worse. The fact is, I do get better at times, and probably more than I should. In conclusion, I've told you a little bit about myself and my experience as a differently abled American. I can't kick a football or run a marathon, but I ask each of you right now to look behind your own soul, and the person that you'll see just might remind you of me. I laugh. I love. I hope. I try. I hurt. I need. I fear. I cry. And I know you do the same things. We're really not that different, you and me. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. God bless you all.